like a noxious gas emitted from the dregs of an abandoned septic tank. Excerpts from Hillary's new book have been released. Her upcoming book, titled What Happened, comes out this fall, accompanied by a speaking tour where one can get a ticket at the very reasonable rate of $125. I'd rather wrestle a live porcupine, nude. Seems kind of fun. In recently released book excerpts, she describes her debate appearances with Donald Trump and how she thought about saying, quote, "Back up, you creep," when he stood too close to her. Yeah, thought about. That's certainly fact-checkable. Funny, you think she would be used to creeps lurking behind her at this point. The audio clips that have been released are as compelling as you can imagine. Here's a baby sloth listening to Hillary.
I want to pull back the curtain on an experience that was exhilarating, joyful, humbling, infuriating, and just plain baffling.
Too boring for him, I guess. So I played some for my cat.
Do you stay calm, keep smiling, and carry on as if he weren't repeatedly invading your space? Or do you turn, look him in the eye, and say loudly and clearly, "Back up, you creep. Get away from me. I know you love to intimidate women, but you can't intimidate me, so back up."
But she never said that. That's the thing. She never said that. I hate that. For comparison, here's that very same cat listening to my book, How to Be Right.
How do I access the unspeakable thoughts so that you will feel a sense of great wonder and satisfaction when you hear them come from someone else's mouth? I do something that, in my opinion, never fails. I pretend I'm drunk.
He bought a lot of books. In bulk, I might add. Put me on the charts. Kat, are you going to buy this book? Are you going to go see her speak? It's kind of exciting. You know, it's up to $3,000 a seat in Canada. You get a seat, a front row seat, a book, signed book, and a picture.
You know what's alarming to me, though, is that some of these, you get tickets. Okay. I feel like I'm living in the Jungle Book. So, you can get a ticket that does not include a book.
Right.
Which means she is having people pay her to advertise to them.
Yes.
Which, like, what a woman of the people. It's absolutely, I don't know who would want to read it. It's like, you know, I thought about calling him a creep, but then I decided not to. That's a fascinating story, Hillary. She's going to have to make money some way, so maybe that's how she'll do it.
Every chapter will be about the thing that she was going to do. It's like the anti-memoir. She never did any of these things, Tyler. It's like, I was going to say this. Anybody could write that book.
Well, I live that book. So, I mean, I was every time I have an argument, they're like, "What happened with your girl?" Well, I've told her like she was acting dumb, she not being right. And then, I mean, what did you really say? I didn't say nothing. I just sat there. But what I was gonna do, I mean, Hillary Clinton
changed it.
Changed the game. All right. Look, man, it's too damn soon for the book anyway. I mean, we know what happened. We just watched it.
Yes.
Wait about 50 years and then drop the book, What Happened. Bill will be gone by then. You can yell and bury him at the same time. And you can, the whole thing. Here's the cold part. If she would have said, "Back off, creep,"
she might have won.
She might have won. Because then they'd be like, "Oh, wow, she cares. She's invested."
Yeah.
Not that Vulcan that was talking the whole time.
It's true, the Titanic, that movie came out a long time after the actual thing, Dean.
Yes, it did. Yes,
and she was the political Titanic.
And it sunk.
She hit an iceberg named Trump.
And it went. I find it shocking that she's charging for that. It's just a strange thing that she's charging people that much money to come in and hear her speak. And didn't they make a lot of money with the Clinton
To hear her promote her book, though, that's like if commercials come on TV and they say, "All right, you got to pay $40 to see these." Why would you do that?
It is. She's charging her for a commercial.
I think you're just jealous.
Well, donations are down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't the foundation just kind of
Foundation's kind of like,
Didn't it poof?
and I guess it'd be rude for her to start a GoFundMe, I need some more money thing.
Jillian.
That's probably a better idea.
Who knows what Hillary Clinton's going to do?
All right, just so the audience knows, Tyrus has trained the audience to hiss every time Hillary's name is mentioned. All right,
instead of booing.
Instead of booing. Julian, could you imagine the process for writing this book? You get a poor guy, a writer in a hotel room that's got to listen to her stories. She whines for 8 hours. Then he's got to transcribe it, drinking and popping Ritalin. And then he's got to read it, and then he probably kills himself.
Again, I think you're probably just jealous.
You think I'm jealous?
You tried to charge these poor people $5. They wouldn't even pay that to come here to listen to your show.
See what
I was not supposed to say that, was I?
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take it. You know who's really happy about the book tour? Bill Clinton. Yep. He's going, wow, she's going to be gone for 3 months. He's gonna get through half that black book. He's gonna get to the letter P, maybe. Who knows?
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Ratcliffe, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, did you make the decision not to recommend criminal charges relating to classified information before or after Hillary Clinton was interviewed by the FBI on July the 2nd?
After.
So right there you can see in the video, James Comey clearly states that he waited until after he interviewed Hillary Clinton and 17 other witnesses to recommend no prosecution be charged against her. So Chuck Grassley and the Senate Judiciary Committee has been investigating this, and they've gotten themselves a hold of some of the Comey memos, Comey drafts, and Comey statements that he wrote while he was at the FBI. And one of them concerned them, and it was particularly about the Clinton email investigation. Now, this is what they said. Both transcripts are heavily redacted without explanation. However, they indicate that Comey began drafting a statement to announce the conclusion of the Clinton email investigation in April or May of 2016, before the FBI interviewed up to 17 key witnesses, including former Secretary Clinton and several of her closest aides. The draft statement also came before the department entered into immunity agreements with Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson, where the department agreed to a very limited review of Secretary Clinton's emails and destroy their laptops after review. In an extraordinary July announcement, Comey exonerated Clinton despite noting there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information. So Chuck Grassley and the Senate Judiciary Committee are now asking the new FBI director for more information, because if it's true that Comey was going to exonerate Hillary Clinton, then he lied under oath multiple times, and I'm going to show you that clip again so you guys can hear it again and see it. But he clearly states, James Comey, that he did not recommend prosecution for Hillary Clinton and all of her other 17 people involved in this until after he witnessed them. But this statement that they just found in the Senate Judiciary Committee contradicts that, and it says that in April or May of 2016, James Comey actually already concluded that he was not going to prosecute or recommend prosecution for her. So thanks for watching. I'm going to show you the video now.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Ratcliffe, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, did you make the decision not to recommend criminal charges relating to classified information before or after Hillary Clinton was interviewed by the FBI on July the 2nd?
After.
Okay, then I'm going to need your help in trying to understand how that's possible. I think there's a lot of prosecutors or former prosecutors that are shaking our heads in how that could be the case, because if there was ever any real possibility that Hillary Clinton might be charged for something that she admitted to on July the 2nd, why would two of the central witnesses in a potential prosecution against her be allowed to sit in the same room to hear the testimony? Now, I've heard your earlier answers today. You said that, well, it was because the interview was voluntary and they were her lawyers. But I think you're skirting the real issue there, Director. First of all, the fact that it was voluntary, it didn't have to be, right? You could have impaneled an investigative grand jury. She could have been subpoenaed. And I know you've said that you can't comment on that, and I don't really care about the decision about whether or not there should have been a grand jury here. But since you didn't have one, it goes to the issue at hand about whether or not this interview should have ever taken place. With due respect to the answers that you've given, the FBI and the Department of Justice absolutely control whether or not an interview is going to take place with other witnesses in the room, because the simple truth is, if under the circumstances as you've described, those interviews never take place. If there was ever any possibility that something Hillary Clinton might have said on July 2nd could have possibly resulted in criminal charges that might possibly resulted in a trial against her relating to this classified information, well, then, to use your words, Director, I don't think that there's any reasonable prosecutor out there who would have allowed two immunized witnesses central to the prosecution to proving the case against her to sit in the room with the interview, the FBI interview of the subject of that investigation. And if I heard you earlier today, in your long career, I heard you say that you've never had that circumstance. Did I hear you correctly?
That's correct. But
okay, and I never have either, and I've never met a prosecutor that's ever had that. So, to me, the only way that an interview takes place with the two central witnesses and the subject of the investigation is if the decision has already been made that all three people in